They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I've been chilling mine for 7 years, 3 months, and 16 days. Every morning I wake up in my studio apartment in Koreatown, make coffee that tastes like disappointment, and prepare to smile at the woman who stole my life. My name is Tessy Kim, and I'm probably not who you'd expect to be plotting the downfall of one of the world's biggest pop stars. I'm 32, wear wire-rimmed glasses that I've had since college, and I still shop at Target for most of my clothes. I have perfect pitch, an encyclopedic knowledge of music production, and a voice that could move mountains, or at least it used to be able to. These days, I use that voice to say, "Good morning, Isabella," and "Your green juice is ready." And of course I can reschedule your entire life around your hangover. Isabella Monroe. Global superstar, Grammy winner, Time Magazine's Person of the Year. She's also a thief, a liar, and the reason I know exactly how cyanide tastes in small doses. Don't worry, I'm not gonna poison her. Death would be too kind, too quick. I want her to feel every moment of her fall, just like I felt every moment of mine. I enter her penthouse through the private elevator, carrying the morning tray of green juice and supplements. The penthouse overlooks the Hollywood Hills, floor-to-ceiling windows revealing a city that promises dreams and delivers nightmares. I've been coming here every morning for 3 years now, ever since I convinced her management company to hire me as her personal assistant. It wasn't hard. I knew exactly what she needed, what she feared, what would make her feel safe. After all, I'd been her best friend for 4 years before she destroyed me. Isabella emerges from her bedroom, golden hair perfectly tousled, wearing a silk robe that costs more than most people make in a month. She's beautiful in that manufactured way that comes from having a team of professionals sculpt perfection. But I remember when she was just Izzy from Marin County, crying into cheap wine because her father wanted her to be a lawyer instead of a singer. "Tessie, darling, you're a lifesaver," she says, taking the juice from my hands. "I have that interview with Rolling Stone in 2 hours, and I feel absolutely dreadful." "Of course," I reply, smiling warmly. "I added extra ginger to your juice. It should help with the vocal strain." She drinks it without question, trusting me completely. She doesn't know that I've been gradually increasing the acidity in her morning drinks. Nothing dangerous, just enough to slowly erode the golden pipes that made her famous. The pipes that were supposed to be mine. "You're such a treasure, Tessie," she says, and I can hear the slight rasp that's been developing in her voice over the past few months. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "Neither do I whisper. But she's already walking away, scrolling through her phone. It started 12 years ago at Berkeley. Two girls from different worlds bonded over late-night songwriting sessions in the music building. Isabella was the trust fund baby who wanted to rebel against her politician father. I was the scholarship kid who worked 3 jobs to afford ramen. We were going to conquer the world together, or at least the music industry. I was the one with the voice, the one who could write lyrics that made people cry. Isabella had the connections, the confidence, the kind of beauty that made A&R executives take meetings. We were perfect partners, or so I thought. We spent 4 years writing songs together, dreaming together, planning our future together. I trusted her with my heart, my hopes, and most foolishly, my music. The betrayal came during our senior year. We'd been shopping our demo around to labels, using both our names, sharing everything equally. Then one day, Isabella came back from a meeting with a contract just for her. She'd taken our songs, our arrangements, everything we'd built together, and claimed it as her own work. When I confronted her, she cried and apologized and promised she'd make it right once she got established. She said she'd bring me in as a songwriter, as a backup singer, as anything I wanted. I believed her. God help me, I believed her. Instead, she disappeared into the machinery of the music industry. I watched from my apartment as she performed my songs on talk shows, as she won awards for my lyrics, as she built an empire on the foundation of my dreams. When I tried to reach out, her new team blocked my calls. When I tried to prove the songs were mine, I discovered that naive 22-year-old me had never copyrighted anything. In the eyes of the law, Isabella Monroe was the sole creator of the music that had lived in my heart since I was 16. I spent the next few years in a haze of depression and cheap wine. I took a job at a music store, then another at a recording studio, watching other people's dreams come true while mine withered. I wrote new songs, but they all sounded hollow compared to what I'd lost. The industry is small, and word gets around. I was labeled as difficult, as someone who made false claims about Isabella Monroe's work. Doors closed before I could even approach them. But anger, real anger, is a renewable resource, and I had plenty to draw from. 3 years ago, I started planning. I researched Isabella's team, her habits, her weaknesses. I created a new identity for myself, still Tessy Kim, but now I was a bubbly, ambitious girl from a small town who just wanted to help make dreams come true. I got a job at her management company, worked my way up, proved myself indispensable. When her previous assistant quit, with a little help from some strategically placed rumors about embezzlement, I was the obvious choice to replace her. Isabella didn't recognize me at first. I'd lost weight, changed my hair, traded my vintage band t-shirts for professional blazers. But more than that, she'd trained herself not to see me. In her mind, I was a problem she'd solved years ago, a casualty of her success that she'd managed to forget. When she finally realized who I was, I played it perfectly. The old friend who harbored no hard feelings, who was just happy to see her success, who understood that business is business. She hired me on the spot, probably feeling guilty enough to think this was her way of making amends. Little did she know, I was just getting started. The first phase of my plan was reconnaissance. I needed to understand every aspect of her life, every vulnerability, every secret that could be weaponized. As her personal assistant, I had access to everything: her email, her calendar, her private conversations, her medical records, her financial information. I learned about her eating disorder, her anxiety medication, her secret plastic surgeries, her fear of aging out of relevance. I also discovered something that made my blood run cold. She was still using my songs, not just the original ones from college, but she'd been taking pieces of my newer work too. Every few months, she'd have her team reach out to the music store where I'd worked, asking for inspiration from local songwriters. They'd pay a few $100s for songwriting consultation, which was code for stealing ideas from desperate musicians. My manager at the store, not knowing our history, had been selling my new compositions to Isabella's team for years. She'd been feeding off my creativity like a parasite, and I'd been too broken to notice. The second phase was establishing myself as indispensable. I made myself the solution to every problem, the answer to every crisis. When she had a panic attack before a performance, I was there with her anxiety medication and calming breathing exercises. When she needed to cancel a date because she was embarrassed about a breakout, I was there with concealer and reassurance. When she wanted to fire her vocal coach but was afraid of confrontation, I handled it for her. Slowly, I became the one person she trusted completely, the one person who truly understood her. The third phase was documentation. I started recording everything: her racist comments about other artists, her cruel jokes about her fans, her admissions of lip-syncing, her drug use, her affairs with married men. I collected it all, organizing it into a comprehensive file that would destroy her career in minutes if it ever saw the light of day. But I wasn't ready to use it yet. I wanted her to fall further first. The fourth phase was subtle sabotage. I started small, accidentally, double booking her for events, causing scheduling conflicts that made her look unprofessional. I'd book her for early morning interviews after I knew she'd been drinking, ensuring she'd look tired and disheveled. I began introducing small errors into her social media posts, making her seem less polished, less perfect. I replaced her usual throat coat tea with a blend that included ingredients that would cause mild inflammation, giving her voice a slight rasp that made her sound older, less vibrant. The beauty of it all was that Isabella trusted me so completely that she never questioned why these things were happening. She blamed bad luck, stress, the pressures of fame. She leaned on me even more, which gave me even more opportunities to strike. 6 months ago, I moved into the fifth phase: relationship sabotage. Isabella had been dating Marcus Chen, a successful tech entrepreneur who actually seemed to care about her. He was kind, stable, and worst of all, he was encouraging her to take more control of her career, to be more independent. He was threatening my access to her, so he had to go. I started by creating fake social media accounts to message him suggestive photos, making it look like Isabella was cheating. When that didn't work, I planted evidence that he was using her for publicity. I intercepted his texts, delayed his calls, and gradually poisoned their relationship with lies and manufactured drama. Within 3 months, they were over, and Isabella was more dependent on me than ever. The sixth phase was the most dangerous: voice destruction. I'd been working on this slowly for over a year, gradually weakening her vocal cords through a combination of acidic drinks, subtle environmental toxins, and encouraging her to push her voice beyond its limits. I'd book her for challenging performances when I knew she was already strained, suggest she try new vocal techniques that I knew would damage her range, and introduce irritants into her environment that would cause chronic inflammation. The change was so gradual that she didn't notice at first, but now, 7 months later, her voice had lost its power, its clarity, its magic. She was compensating with more auto-tune, more backing tracks, more studio manipulation. The critics were starting to notice. Her label was getting nervous. Her confidence was cracking. Today marks the beginning of Phase 7, the final countdown. I'm standing in her kitchen, preparing her morning smoothie, when she walks in looking more haggard than usual. She's been struggling with insomnia lately, partly due to the mild stimulants I've been adding to her evening tea, but she doesn't know that. "Tessy, I need you to cancel the acoustic session today," she says, her voice noticeably hoarse. I can't hit the high notes anymore. What if people notice?" "Of course," I say, stirring extra lemon into her drink. "Maybe you should see a specialist about your voice. I know someone who might be able to help." The specialist I'm thinking of is Dr. Sarah Martinez, a vocal coach who Isabella fired 5 years ago after a personal disagreement. Dr. Martinez has been waiting for revenge of her own, and she's agreed to help me in exchange for some of the compromising recordings I've collected. She'll examine Isabella's voice, confirm that the damage is extensive, and recommend a treatment plan that will actually make things worse. "Do you think it's serious?" Isabella asks, and for the first time in years I can hear genuine fear in her voice. "I'm sure it's nothing." I lie smoothly. "You've just been working so hard. Maybe you need a break." But we both know she can't take a break. She's in the middle of a world tour, with 47 dates remaining. Her new album is supposed to drop in 3 months. She has endorsement deals, movie soundtracks, a documentary crew following her every move. Her entire empire depends on her voice, and that voice is failing. I hand her the smoothie and watch as she drinks it, noting how she winces slightly when the acidic liquid hits her throat. In about an hour, she'll start feeling the effects of the mild diuretic I've added to the mix. She'll need to use the bathroom constantly during her interview, making her seem unprofessional and scattered. The interviewer will notice her voice issues and ask pointed questions about her health, her ability to continue performing, her future plans. "I have some ideas about how to handle the publicity around your voice," I say, pulling out my tablet. "We could spin it as artistic evolution, a more mature sound. Maybe do some interviews about how you're growing as an artist." She nods gratefully, not realizing that the interviews I'm planning will be career suicide. I've already leaked to several gossip blogs that she's been difficult to work with lately, that she's been making unreasonable demands, that she's lost touch with her fans. The narrative is already forming: Isabella Monroe, the fallen star who let fame go to her head. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus, her ex-boyfriend. He's been trying to reach her for weeks, wanting to explain the misunderstanding that broke them up. He's figured out that someone was sabotaging their relationship, and he's starting to ask questions. I delete his message without showing it to her, just like I've been doing for months. "Oh, and Tessy," Isabella says, finishing her smoothie, "I've been thinking about what you said last week, about maybe writing some new music together, like we used to." My blood runs cold. This is not part of the plan. I've spent 3 years avoiding any situation that might remind her of our shared history, of the music we created together. If she starts thinking about the past, she might start remembering details that don't line up with her current narrative. "That's a wonderful idea," I say carefully, "but maybe we should wait until after the tour, when you're feeling more vocally healthy?" "Maybe," she says, but I can see the wheels turning in her head. It's just, I've been having these dreams lately, about Berkeley, about the songs we wrote. It's like my subconscious is trying to tell me something. Panic flickers through me, but I keep my expression neutral. "Dreams can be funny things, probably just stress from the tour." She nods, but she's looking at me differently now, like she's seeing something she hadn't noticed before. I need to redirect her attention, fast. Actually, I say, pulling up my calendar, I think we should focus on the more immediate concerns. Your voice, the tour, the album. Speaking of which, I have some ideas about the track listing that might help compensate for your current vocal limitations. The word limitations hits her like a slap. She flinches, and I immediately regret pushing too hard. But it's too late now. She's staring at me with an expression I haven't seen in years, suspicion. Tessy, she says slowly, how long have we known each other? 3 years, I say without hesitation, since I started working for you. No, she says, shaking her head. Before that, we knew each other before that. My heart is pounding, but I force myself to stay calm. We met briefly at a few industry events. That's probably what you're remembering. She's quiet for a long moment, studying my face. Then she walks to her phone and starts scrolling through her contacts. I watch, frozen, as she finds what she's looking for. An old photo from college. It's a picture of the two of us at a campus coffee shop, laughing over a notebook full of lyrics. My lyrics. Tessy Kim, she says, reading the caption. My writing partner. My best friend. The mask falls from my face. After 3 years of perfect performance, I can't maintain the charade anymore. She knows. She remembers. Hello, Izzy, I say, using her old nickname for the first time in years. It's been a while. Her face goes through a series of emotions. Shock, recognition, fear, and finally, understanding. She looks around her kitchen, at the smoothie glass in her hand, at the pills I've been giving her, at the 3 years of perfect assistance that never quite felt right. What did you do? She whispers. I gave you exactly what you deserved, I say, and my voice is steady now, strong. You stole my life, so I'm taking yours. She's backing away from me, but there's nowhere to go. We're alone in her penthouse, 40 floors above the city, and I'm the only one with access to the elevator. The voice issues, she says, understanding dawning. You've been poisoning me. Not poisoning, I correct. Eroding. Just like you eroded my dreams, my faith in humanity, my ability to trust anyone ever again. You've been drinking acid for 7 months, Isabella. Your vocal cords are scarred beyond repair. She lunges for her phone, but I'm faster. I grab it and throw it against the wall, watching it shatter into pieces. The interview, she says desperately. People will notice if I don't show up. I already canceled it, I say. Told them you were too sick to perform. The narrative is already out there. Isabella Monroe, the fading star who can't handle the pressure anymore. She's crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. Please, Tessy. I know I hurt you, but this is insane. People will figure it out. They'll know it was you. Will they? I ask, walking to her laptop and opening it. Because I've been documenting everything. Every racist comment, every cruel joke, every time you've lip-synced, every affair, every lie. I have 3 years of evidence that you're not the person your fans think you are. I turn the screen toward her, showing her the folder labeled Insurance Policy. It contains hundreds of audio files, video clips, text messages, and photographs. Her entire career, her entire reputation, condensed into digital evidence that would destroy her within hours of being released. You can't, she breathes. My fans, my family, my climbing. Your fans deserve to know who you really are, I interrupt. Your family already knows you're a disappointment. And your career, well, that was built on stolen music anyway. I'm just returning it to its rightful owner. She falls to her knees, sobbing. What do you want? Money? Credit? I'll give you anything. I want you to feel what I felt, I say, crouching down to her level. I want you to lose everything you care about. I want you to watch your dreams die while everyone you trusted abandons you. I want you to spend the rest of your life knowing that you had everything, and you threw it all away because you couldn't resist stealing from someone who loved you. She looks up at me, and for a moment, I see the girl she used to be. The scared, insecure girl who cried about her father's expectations and worried she'd never be good enough. For just a moment, I almost feel sorry for her. Then I remember the last 7 years of my life. The depression, the isolation, the way I had to rebuild myself from nothing while she soared on wings made of my feathers. The sympathy dies. I have a proposal, I say, standing up. You can try to fight this, try to expose me, try to salvage your career, but you'll lose. I have too much evidence, too many connections, too much insider knowledge, or I let the word hang in the air. Or what? She asks. Or you can take control of your own narrative. You can announce that you're retiring from music due to health issues. You can admit that you've been struggling with your voice, that you need to step back and focus on your well-being. You can disappear gracefully, quietly, without destroying the lives of everyone around you. She's quiet for a long moment, considering her options. And if I do that, then I keep the evidence to myself. Your secrets stay secret. Your reputation remains intact, at least publicly. You get to keep your money, your house, your dignity. You just don't get to keep your career. It's a generous offer, more generous than she deserves. But I'm not a monster. I don't want to destroy innocent people, her musicians, her crew, her genuine fans. I just want justice. How do I know you won't release the evidence anyway? She asks. Because unlike you, I keep my word, I say. Make the announcement today. Tell the world that you're stepping back from music to focus on your health. Cancel the tour, delay the album, disappear from the spotlight. Do that, and I'll disappear too. You'll never see me again. She stares at me for a long moment, then slowly nods. Okay, I'll do it. Good, I say, heading toward the elevator. I'll give you some privacy to prepare your statement. I'll be back in an hour to help you with the press release. As the elevator doors close, I see her sitting on the floor of her kitchen, broken and defeated. I should feel triumphant, victorious, satisfied. Instead, I feel empty, hollow. Like I've spent so much time planning for this moment that I forgot to plan for what comes after. An hour later, I return to find her in her home studio, sitting at the piano. She looks up when I enter, and her face is calmer now, resigned. I've been thinking about those songs, she says, the ones we wrote together. Do you remember Midnight Train? I freeze. Midnight Train was our masterpiece, the song we wrote during our senior year that we were both convinced would make us famous. She'd never recorded it, never released it, never even mentioned it in interviews. It was the one piece of our shared history that she'd left untouched. I remember, I say carefully. I never used it, she says. I could have. It would have been a massive hit, but every time I tried to sing it, I heard your voice instead of mine. It was the one song I couldn't steal because it was so completely, perfectly you. She plays the opening chords, and despite everything, I feel tears prick my eyes. It's been 12 years since I've heard that melody, but I remember every note, every word, every emotion that went into creating it. I want you to have it, she says, still playing. All of it. The rights, the masters, everything. Consider it. Payment for services rendered. I don't want your charity, I say, but my voice is softer now. It's not charity, she says. It's justice. You wrote most of it anyway. The melody, the lyrics, the arrangement, that was all you. I just sang it. She continues playing, and without thinking, I start to sing. My voice is rusty from disuse, but the words flow out of me like water finding its way to the ocean. For 3 minutes, we're not enemies. We're not victim and villain. We're just two girls who used to make beautiful music together. When the song ends, we sit in silence. Finally, she speaks. I'm sorry, Tessy. I know it doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry. I was young and scared and selfish, and I made choices that destroyed both of us. I've regretted it every day since. I look at her, this woman who stole my life, who forced me to become someone I never wanted to be. She's crying again, but quietly this time, dignified. I know, I say. I know you're sorry, but sorry doesn't give me back the last 7 years. Sorry doesn't undo the damage to my voice from all the screaming I did into my pillow. Sorry doesn't make me trust people again, or believe in love, or think that dreams can come true if you just work hard enough. She nods, understanding. So what happens now? Now you make your announcement, I say. You disappear. You find a new life, a new identity, a new purpose. You become someone who doesn't need to steal from others to feel worthy. And you? I consider the question. For 3 years, my entire existence has been focused on this moment. I've had no life, no relationships, no dreams beyond destroying her. I've become a ghost haunting her world. And now that the haunting is over, I'm not sure who I am anymore. I don't know, I admit. Maybe I'll try to sing again. Maybe I'll write new songs. Maybe I'll find a way to trust people again, to believe in something beyond revenge. She stands up from the piano and walks to a safe hidden behind a painting. She opens it and pulls out a manila envelope. These are the original contracts from college, she says, handing it to me. The ones that show you as co-writer on all our songs. I kept them all these years. I guess I kept them as a reminder of what I'd done. I take the envelope, hardly believing what I'm holding. Legal proof of my contribution to the music that made her famous. Evidence that could have saved me years of struggle, if only I'd known it existed. There's also a check in there, she continues, for half of everything I've made from your songs. It's not enough, it could never be enough, but it's what you're owed. I open the envelope and see a check for $12 million. $12 million that represents 7 years of stolen royalties, stolen credit, stolen dreams. It's more money than I've ever seen in my life, but it feels like blood money. I don't want your money, I say, but even as I say it, I know I'm lying. I do want it. I want the financial security, the freedom it represents, the ability to never have to bow to anyone ever again. Take it, she says. Use it to build something beautiful. Use it to become the artist you were meant to be. Use it to prove that you're better than me, that you always were. I fold the check and put it in my pocket. Make the announcement, I say. Tell the world you're done. She nods and walks to her laptop. I watch as she types out a statement, her fingers moving slowly across the keys. She's announcing her retirement from music, citing health concerns and a desire to focus on her personal well-being. She's thanking her fans, her team, her family. She's lying about being grateful for the journey, about having no regrets. Should I mention you, she asks. Give you credit for the songs? No, I say. Let me do that myself, in my own time, in my own way. She finishes the statement and looks at me. Are you going to post it? You are, I say. It needs to come from your accounts, in your voice. I'll be there to make sure you don't change your mind. She takes a deep breath and hits publish on Instagram. Within seconds, the comments start pouring in. Shock, sadness, confusion, anger. Her fans are devastated. Her team is probably in crisis mode. Her label is probably calculating losses. But it's done. Isabella Monroe, the global superstar, is officially retiring from music. What about the tour? She asks. The album? Cancel everything, I say. Blame it on vocal cord damage. Offer refunds. Disappear gracefully. She nods and starts making calls. I listen as she speaks to her manager, her label, her publicist. She's calm, professional, decisive. She's taking control of her own destruction, and there's something almost admirable about it. When she's finished, she looks at me one more time. Will you ever forgive me? No, I say honestly, but I might, someday, forget you. She smiles sadly. That's probably more than I deserve. I head toward the elevator, but she calls my name one more time. Tessy? For what it's worth, you were always the better singer. You were always the real artist. I know, I say, but you never tried to earn it. You just took it. The elevator doors close, and I descend 40 floors back to street level. When I reach the lobby, I can already see the news breaking on the TVs in the windows. Isabella Monroe announces shock retirement. Pop star cites health concerns. The end of an era. I walk out into the Los Angeles sunshine, and for the first time in 7 years, I feel like I can breathe. The weight of carrying my hatred, my anger, my need for revenge, it's all gone. I'm hollow, but I'm free. I have $12 million in my pocket, legal proof that I created some of the most popular songs of the last decade, and nothing but time to figure out who I am when I'm not consumed by the need for vengeance. Isabella Monroe stole my life, but today I stole it back, and tomorrow, for the first time in years, I'm going to try to sing. The understudy's moment is over. It's time for the real show to begin. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, do well to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more satisfying revenge stories. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can be notified when I post subsequent videos. See you on my next video. Bye.